so excited to be here with you today. As you just heard me say, it is time for networking school. And the reason that I wanted to come on today, I don't have a guest, and I really wanted to take a moment and just back up a little bit and just introduce myself to you. There's many of you all who are tuning in for the first time, and though you probably have enjoyed the guests that we've had so far because they are amazing, you might be wondering, well, who is Tish Times and why on earth is she the one hosting this podcast called Networking School with Tish Times? So I wanted to take a moment and just introduce myself to you, tell you a little bit about my story, give you some expectations as to what you're going to receive as you continue to listen to the Networking School podcast, because I know you're going to subscribe, right? If you have not already, I invite you to do so. Take a listen, and if you're finding value, if you're finding that, I am able to implement some of the things that I'm hearing either from Tish or from her guest or from both, then I invite you to also leave a review on Apple Podcast or on Spotify or wherever you're listening to your podcast. That does tremendous things for me. And number one, it just makes me so happy because I love to hear your feedback and know what's really important to you, so I know what to bring you more of, as well as for me to hear feedback and know what works, what doesn't. I am a everlasting learner, right? I'm a lifelong learner rather, and I always want to hear, right? I want to hear what are the things that our audience really needs and desires the most of, because I'm here for you. I'm totally here for you. So let me just tell you a little bit about myself. I am the owner of two companies. The first company I have owned for a little over 10 years. It's called Tish Times Networking and Sales Training. I did not start off to do networking and sales training. I'll tell you how I got started in just a little bit, but I've been doing it for 10 years. I absolutely love it. I think that those who have encountered our sales training, our online business school that focuses on sales and networking training, as well as our in-person talks. I do a lot of teaching from the stage. I do a lot of facilitating within organizations. People who have attended, the feedback that I get and the results that I see are always very, very good. People increase their income, they increase their confidence, they figure out ways to communicate more effectively, breaking down silos within their companies, figuring out ways to be more articulate in the way that they're describing their products and services in the marketplace. Those are the things that I get. I just live for. I love, love, love being able to do what I do because I love to see the results that my clients and my audience gets when we get an opportunity to serve in that capacity. The second business that I owned is called Network in Action. Network in Action is actually a franchise. I've owned the franchise for just under a year, and I purchased this franchise because it lines up so perfectly with what I already do, what I've been doing for a long time. It made sense because I have been traveling all over the country for the last close to 10 years, definitely for the last 6 years. And it was time for me to kind of dial back a little bit of my travel. And I'll tell you a little bit about why that needed to happen in a moment as well. Network in Action is a professional networking organization. It is a national professional networking organization. So you might see that name in other cities, but each city has its own franchise owner. Some cities that are really large have multiple franchise owner. I was the first franchise owner in the state of Arizona, and I'm very proud of that. We bring people together in order to help grow business. We do what's called referral. We help each other grow business via referrals. It is industry specific, but it's not your regular run-of-the-mill, weekly or bi-weekly type of organization where you maybe come into the room and say the same thing and do the same thing every single week. It's very different. It really gives us an atmosphere of camaraderie, almost a family, so that we really are invested in helping each other grow business. So I love Network in Action. I love Tish Times Networking and Sales Training. I love what I do, but now we have the new podcast that you're currently listening to, Networking School. So networking school has only been in existence for maybe a week now. You're listening to it, no, almost a month actually. You're listening to our probably fourth episode. And I'm so proud of networking school because it kind of allows me to bring all of the things that I love to do the most just into one place. And I'm positive, absolutely positive that you are going to get great nuggets, things that you can implement immediately, people that you need to know. Information is going to be business changing, life changing, relationship changing for you. And I just invite you to continue to listen. So one of the reasons that I do all of these various things that I do is there's a quote that I often start my speeches with. And I love this quote because it just helps me to stay in that focus of why I do what I do. Zig Ziglar, who of course was a phenomenal motivational speaker years ago, and if you look him up, you can hear his funny stories. He's a great orator. He said, timid salespeople have skinny kids. And if you just take a second and think about that, it'll hit you. And the reason those timid salespeople have skinny kids is because they lack the confidence to approach the people who they need to be serving, which means they don't make many sales, which means they don't make much money, which means they don't provide for their families very well. And I am on a mission to make sure that the people that I'm called to serve, specifically female entrepreneurs and female sales professionals, but not only, that's just a lot of the people that are attracted to my business, but I'm on a mission to make sure that we walk with the confidence necessary to be able to speak boldly, to be able to present our products and our services in such a way to where people are able to understand that they need what we have to offer when we're talking to the right person, and we give them the ability to say yes quickly because they see the value in what we do. When we're more timid, when we're less confident, the likelihood is it impacts not only us, it impacts our family, it impacts all of the people who are kind of watching who we are and what we do. And I really want us to begin to change generations because of the way that we step in, the way that we show up, the way that we present ourselves in our businesses. And one of the primary reasons this is so important to me is because I am the mother of 3 of the most amazing men on the planet. And I know I'm biased, but I totally believe that. And although they're grown men now, one of them has a family of his own, and all of them live on their own now, I still feel a tremendous obligation to show them, to be an example of being able to persevere, being able to believe bigger, being able to reach bigger. And I want them to see their mother. I want them to see the people that they are looking up to, myself, of course, being one of those people, that nothing is impossible. I now have a granddaughter and a grandson, and I want when they look at me to say, man, there's nothing I can't do. And so legacy is a huge motivator for me. It causes me to get up in the morning. It causes me to continue. It causes me to get out of my funk when I get into my funk, because I'm just like everybody else. And so that's a little bit about why I do what I do. Let me tell you a little bit more about specifically what I do and why it's such a big deal to me. Because I have been through so many things. I started with a staffing company. I started my career back in staffing years and years ago. It was my first real job. I got it totally by accident. I was in college when I met my husband. We got married very soon, very quickly. We knew each other for 2 weeks when he proposed to me. We were married 4 months after that, and we're celebrating our 25th wedding anniversary this year. So I don't recommend people to do that, but that's how it worked out for us. But shortly after we got married, my husband had a terrible car accident, and it, in a nutshell, caused him not to be able to work for a period of time. Now, I'm a student. I had a job, but it wasn't a very good paying job, and he wasn't able to work for a little while. And so I walked into a staffing company with the intention of taking on a very temporary, maybe a couple weeks worth of work until we kind of got back on our feet. That turned into me taking a full-time position there, working my way up the ladder for 8 years. And then when I finally did leave that organization, I started my own staffing company, and I ran my own staffing company for another 8 years. When I ended up closing that business, it wasn't because I said, hey, it's time to do something new. It was 2008 and the market crashed. And that, coupled with some really bad business decisions that I made, that you'll get to know more and more about that story as we continue to get to know each other. But that year, we lost everything. We lost everything. We lost our home, we lost our cars. I'm so grateful that my kids were actually away at school. And so my older two boys were away at school at that time, and my younger son was still with us, living with us. And we ended up living in my brother's house, my husband and I sleeping on their bunk beds that they had bought for their grandchildren, and my son sleeping in another one of their guest rooms. And so I've been through a lot. I'm not one of those people who's like an overnight success and have only done things right and never can relate when someone says that they've had major failures. I've had major failures, and I know what it's like to kind of come back from that. And I say all that, I tell you that story because one of the things you're going to hear me talk about a lot, one of the questions I ask almost every guest is, what's your confidence story? Because I firmly believe that sales, marketing, networking, business success is less about competence, though you must know what you're doing, right? You must invest the time and do the work to get to where you need to go to. But many times it's less about competence, more about confidence. And so I believe that when we lack that confidence, we're less likely to speak boldly, as I said before. We're less likely to present our products and our service to a perfect stranger, to pick up the phone and make those prospecting calls, to approach someone who we're not comfortable talking to because we don't already know them. But when we're sure about ourselves, we're positive that we have a life-changing business or service, we are willing and ready to make that new interaction, right? To make that new connection. And so what I do now enables me to both connect, to be able to help other people to connect. It enables me to be able to have like the best of everything that I really enjoy doing. So what we do is we basically help entrepreneurs and sales professionals to sell with unstoppable confidence. We help them to make sure that they're not having to be frustrated with their income, struggling to fill a pipeline, afraid to make follow-up calls. And we help people to increase their income with unparalleled networking and sales strategies, right? Helping people to close sales faster. And that's what we do in our business. And in our networking group, Network in Action, we help our participants, our members, to be able to make real connections so that they understand what their business partners do, and they're able to refer business seamlessly, flawlessly to other people. So we're all in it together to help build business. So I started networking school because it was a long time coming. I love to speak. It's one of my favorite things to do. And I love to be able to interview people. I love to be able to have conversations with other people. And this is a way for me to, number one, get a chance to connect with amazing networkers across the nation, across the world in some cases, get a chance to hear their stories of where they came from to where they are right now, and even understand where they are going. And most importantly, to be able to present them to you, to the world. And one of my goals is to help connect them with their ideal clients. My hope is that you're going to hear someone and you're going, oh my God, I need to talk to that person. I need what they have to offer. I know someone who needs them, and you're going to reach out to them and you're going to give them, an opportunity to share with you what they do, and vice versa. So I grew up, believe it or not, in a party house. And what I mean by that is my parents always were the place where everybody gathered. We had the pinochle games going all the time. We had the barbecues. My mom was a master cook, a master chef, never was trained, self-taught, but the best cook I've ever known to this day. However, I am what's called an ambivert. So although I spend a lot of time mingling and entertaining and helping in the kitchen and being there when mom said, hey, show her this new dance or tell him the story that you shared with me, I could show up and I could do that. But I was also that person who kind of needed to get away, go into my room, get a good book, get under my covers and just kind of lose it all, get lost in the silence as well. And so one of the things that I love about what we're doing here and what you're going to be hearing in networking school is it's not just for people who are really extroverted, really gregarious and love to be out center in front. I also love to attract those who don't see themselves as sales professionals, who don't think they're good networkers, who think that, small talk is a waste of time and they don't want to do it and they don't see the purpose of networking. We call it networking school not only because we're getting together and doing all these connections, we're also teaching skills and tools to help those who don't really know how to network really well yet. Some things that help them to do what I call rock their shell. And I never will tell someone to be someone that they're not, to try to take on a new persona in order to be successful. In all honesty, I want to teach people how to rock their shell, how to be exactly who they are in a way that's natural, that feels very, very, very good to them. And it also feels authentic to the people that they're talking to. So it never feels like I have on this name tag, I'm just spewing out this script because this is what Tish told me to do. That's not what we do. And so I'm hoping that as you listen to the episodes that are to come, and we got lots and lots in store for you, that you're going to meet some new people that you need to know, that you're going to hear some great things that are going to help you to network more effectively, that are going to help you to understand how to do the things that might be missing in your sales system, right? Be it your prospecting life, be it your actual day-to-day profit producing activities, that you understand a little bit more about what that really means, as well as what it means to follow up in a way that causes people to want to hear from you and to want to call you back when they miss your call. I'm hoping that you're going to pick up the phone and reach out to some of these amazing people that we're going to be presenting before you. And I'm really hoping that it's going to impact you in such a way to where you're going to want to refer it to other people. You're going to want to tell other people about it. You're going to want to leave a review, as I asked you for before, because I just believe it's going to be a game-changing podcast. And I hope that we continue to get to know each other and you continue to hang out with us here in Networking School. Thank you so much. I know I just gave you a snippet of who I am, but I definitely wanted to make sure that you were aware of who I am, a little bit about why we're here, and you'll get to hear more and more and more every single week. We release podcasts on Wednesdays every single week, so we'll meet you every Wednesday right here in Networking School. Thank you so much, and I look forward to getting to know you better.